committed, that's when things changed. Once he did that, the game changed entirely. He ended up losing during our time working together. He's lost over 40 pounds. He went from a 41-inch waist size now down to close to a 29 waist size. He's got, instead of more of a pear frame, he's got more of a V-shaped frame. And he said that he is at the same weight now that he was in his younger 20s. So just recently, I had an awesome conversation with a client of mine who is a high-performing attorney and actually part owner of a law firm. He manages over 150 people. His day-to-day life is very busy. And when him and I, the conversation we were having was almost a celebration of how far he's come in his journey since starting working together. And he's created astounding results, which I'm going to share here in a second. But one of the things that I found interesting was that before we started working together, one thing that he shared with me, because he got to the point to where he was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, like a lot of the busy guys that I have the honor of working with, is that they get to a point to where they're so focused on going out and growing the business, growing the career, doing things, right, providing, and then during all the midst of all that chaos, somewhere along the line, they lose themselves in the process, right? Maybe put their health on the back burner. Even if unintentionally, it just ends up happening with everything else they got going on in their world. And so this client had a point where he was drained, and he wasn't really proud of the guy staring back in the mirror. It was really affecting him in terms of how he went out. Like, he would avoid vacations with his family, and even when he did go, he didn't want to go out and play and be present because he just didn't feel comfortable within his own skin, right? Anyway, needless to say, he had enough, and he stepped up. But one of the things that he told me is that I found interesting was that before we started working together, everything in his life was very casual. So everything he did was casual. The way, like, he produced results in his business and his career, but everything else in his world was like casual with what he ate. Like, just whatever, I'm just gonna eat whatever. Like, nothing but, no thought behind it, just give me whatever to eat. What he wore, he was like, everything was casual. Even though a high-performing attorney, it's just like, even outside of that, everything was just casual. There was nothing intentional. And what this ended up being was results that he didn't like, right? He did not like the guy staring back in the mirror. He was tired of the belly hanging over his belt. He just was sick of it. And so, needless to say, when he got enough was enough and he stepped up, what he found out was that the moment that he went from casual with his behaviors, his actions, his habits, and his intentions, and turned casual to committed, that's when things changed. Once he did that, the game changed entirely. He ended up losing during our time working together. He's lost over 40 pounds. He went from a 41-inch waist size now down to close to a 29 waist size. He's below 6 feet, so that makes sense overall. He's got, instead of more of a pear frame, he's got more of a V-shaped frame. And he said that he is at the same weight now, that I believe he's about 155. He went from about 195 to 155, and he's at the same weight now that he was in his younger 20s. But the difference is, he said, I actually like who I see in the mirror now, because even in his younger 20s, he didn't like how he carried himself. He didn't like how he looked in the mirror. And now he's got this firm frame that's got, flat stomach, abs are, outline of abs are showing everything. So my point in sharing this with you is not to impress you, but to impress upon you that if you're not where you necessarily want to be, I would invite you to look at where right now are you being casual with your habits and your intentions, and where can you instead consider to flip that to committed, put intention behind those committed actions, and get the results that you're looking for. So that's all I got for now. Till next time, I'm Logan.